Good afternoon. So as I promised at the start of the week, I've got a couple of new Solido aircraft to review. The first being this Beaufighter Mark 6 and then the Dornier 335 file, which is in RAF markings, as you can see in the box behind. So with the Beaufighter, there's only two companies who make them, or originally there was two companies who made them. That was IXO and Hobbymaster, which I've got one to the side of me, which I'll bring in a minute. So Solido bought the IXO mould and have bought the Warmaster range to redo and reinvigorate, and they've done a few aircraft, as I'm sure you've seen. I've reviewed the Southeast Asian Command Mosquito, and there's a Hellcat out there now in Operation Torch markings, which is desert sort of colours. They've had the Uhu, which is the German nightfighter, the HS219. The Zero on floats, which has been out for some time now, and they've got a Lavuchin LA7 coming out later this year as well. And I think they've just also released a Huey helicopter as well, which looks quite nice. So the IXO mould, as I've already covered, is a little bit dated, but Warmaster and then Solido, who've now bought Warmaster, have done much better jobs in making them look a lot prettier, because originally when IXO made them, the panel lines were almost drawn on by felt tip all along here. You could just way too heavy until the scale just stood out, probably being about half a metre thick. So it just didn't look right. So a little bit of history. So you had IXO first, then you had Warmaster, who did a number of aircraft from the IXO range, including Spitfires, a Focke-Wulf, P61D, and I'm trying to think what other ones. There's a Hellcat in target colours. And then obviously Solido then bought Warmaster after a sort of sabbatical of 2-3 years, and they started releasing the aircraft. So this one here is, as I said, is a Bristol Beaufighter Mark 6. So the first thing I thought when I got this out of the box was, what's going on with the tailplane? So if you can see, got a real dihedral there. And done a little bit of research around the different types of variants of Beaufighters, and the Mark 6 was actually the first Mark of Beaufighter to use a dihedral tail. So before this, it was a flat tail. So if you bear with me, I'll just bring over the Mark 10, a standard flat tail. There, that's a Hobbymaster one, which I'll get to in a minute, so I'll move him out of the way. So yeah, that was obviously quite weird to look at first, but it was for more lift at lower altitudes apparently. So they did go back to a flatter tail after that, but obviously part of the trial. So this US Air Force Beaufighter was based in Corsica in 1944, and this was one of the aircraft that shot down a Dornier over the beaches of Anzio after the landings in early 1944. So this was based on the same airfield as the 57th Fighter Group P47s, and if any of you have got Netflix out there, really highly recommend watching. There's a documentary on the 57th Fighter Group Thunderbolts and their operations over Italy and over Anzio and whatnot, and it's quite hard hitting actually. There's some bits in it which really make you sort of sit back and think that it's all not fun and games warfare, but yeah, really worth looking at if you've got that. Well, yeah, sort of going back to the Beaufighter. So yeah, so this was it's a night fighter variant, but if you see, it's tooled up with rockets underneath its wings there as well. So there we go. So anyway, so a little bit about this aircraft and in terms of the actual model itself. So as you can see, there is no pilot included, which is a bit of a shame, but any sort of modelers out there should be able to prise that canopy off relatively easily to get a little pilot in there. And I know Hobbymaster certainly sell the pilots in little packs. That sort of doesn't really take away anything from the model for me. I think they've done again, you know, this new sort of thing with Solido is to do a weathered marking. So if you can see, you can almost see that under painting there from the paint scheme. I think they call that highlighting in modelling terms, where you highlight the panel lines underneath and then paint it. But it really does stand out. A really nice finish to the aircraft as well. And if I bring the Hobbymaster one in as well, so let me just move that to one side. So if we look at them side by side, this is an RAF nightfighter of Cat's Eye Cunningham. If you look at them front on, I don't think there's an awful lot of difference there. I think the only difference I'm noticing it's the exhaust on the engines there and there, but that might be due to the variant of engines as well, because they're both Bristol Hercules, but different variants of Hercules. The Mark 6 actually was the first time they reverted back to Bristol Hercules after trialling the Merlins on the Mark 5s. So I can't give you a definitive answer on that because I'm not an expert in the field of Beaufighters. But actually, if I put them straight in front of each other, if you look at them dead straight, obviously with the exception of the tail, which is part of the variant, I think that's pretty good. I don't think there's an awful lot of difference there. I know the Beaufighter retails for around about £32. The XO1, the Solido one. The XO one originally was about 15 quid, but if it does come up on eBay now, because it's so rare, it's a RF Coastal Command one, they do go for a decent amount of money. So yeah, I think, actually it's a really, really nice model. So it's a different type of scheme to most Beaufighters which you see out there. It's nice to see a non-RAF one. So you can get the Hobby Master range as well, and you can get them all schemes. You can get the desert schemes, you can obviously, this is a Mediterranean scheme, you can get a late Battle of Britain scheme, and also Southeast Asian Command schemes as well. So real different amounts of variants out there. I know there's even an ugly Turkish Air Force one, which I think I'll steer clear of. But no, I think I've done a really good job with this. Again, it's not perfect. The undercarriage isn't perfect. It isn't the easiest to fit. But actually, I'm quite chuffed with it. I think I've done a really, really good job, and it's a different variant to add to the Beaufighters that I have in the collection now. I think it's number 6 in total. But yeah, it really does look the part. So I'll have a look at the doing the Dornier later this afternoon. I'll put them side by side so you can have a look at that. As you can see it in the background now, it's in RAF test markings. But yeah, I think I've done a really nice job of that. So yeah, I'll get some pictures up and I'll stick a review on tomorrow. I know it's Dan's tonight. So, have a good day. Take care.